Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to solve this problem, maximum consecutive ones. So in this problem we have given an array and we have to return the maximum number of consecutive ones in that array. So first see what an example and try to understand what is the problem statement. So here we are given this array 1 1 0 and 1 1 and 1. So here occurrence of ones happens is two places, this 1 1 and this 1 1 and 1. So maximum continuous or consecutive ones are occurring here and the number of ones is 3. So the output we have to give is 3. So now we know what is the input and what is the expected output in the problem statement. So before we start coding, let's think how we should approach this problem and try to solve it then. So we are given this array 1 1 0 1 1 and 1 and we have to find the maximum number of consecutive ones. Correct? So this is an easy problem and we can just simply provide the solution through our intuition. Okay. There is no brute force or optimal solution as such, like every solution will seems like same. As in the problem, we have to find the maximum consecutive number of ones. Okay. So in the problem statement itself, we know that we need to find the maximum, right? That is max. And we need to find the number of ones, right? That is count, correct? So from the problem statement itself, we are getting a hint. We need to at least have these two values. That is, we need to have a max value and we need to have a counter that will count the number of ones, right? So we can just simply start iterating through this array. Okay, so let's say first one is the one, right? So now the max will become 1, right? And count of 1 will become 1, correct? Now the next element is again 1, right? So the count will now become 2 2. As now the count is 2, so we will compare this max and count. So 2 is greater, so now max will become 2. Now the next element is 0, right? Now, as we have encountered 0, what does it mean? That means the consecutive one sequence has been broken, right? Now it is break. So that means the count we need to reset back to 0, right? Now we will reset the count to 0, right? Now the count is 0, so max will again remain 2 as we have no ones as of now. Now again we move to the next element, that is 1. Again the count we will increase from 0 to 1, right? And we will compare this max and count. So again max is 2, so it will remain 2. Now we move to the next element, that is again 1. And so we will increase our counter of 1 to 2, right? And this max and count are same, so we will not change the max and the max will still remain 2. Now again we will move to the next element, that is 1, and we will increase our counter from 2 to 3, right? Now we will compare this max and count. As the max is less than the count, that means we need to update our max to 3, right? And this 3, as we have done iterating through this array, and the max value we'll get is 3, so 3 will be our answer. That is, the maximum number of consecutive ones are 3. So here in this we are just iterating through this array and assuming the length of array is n, so the time complexity will be order of n, and we have just used two variables, not any extra space. So these two variables is a constant time, constant space, so the space complexity will be of order of 1. And this is the better, optimal, or brute force, whatever you can say, is the solution of this problem. And we can't optimize it further because we are already using constant space and the time complexity is also order of n. So this is the solution of it. And now, as we have understood the solution or the concept or our intuition, now let's convert this intuition in our code by going to the code editor, and let's write our code down. Now we have understood the thought process, how we can approach this problem. So we can start coding. So before we start coding, as usual, we will see what we have given. So we are given an array nums, and in the return we have to return a number, right? And that number we know that it should be the max, right? So we can initialize two variables as max as -1, that is the least or minimum value we can initialize, and count as 0, right? Then what we can do is we can loop through this array nums, and we can do is if this current element is equal to 1, that means we need to update our count, right? We will increase the count by 1, and now we will check if in any case this count becomes greater than max, that means we can update our max to count, right? Otherwise, if it is not 1, that means we have encountered the 0. That means we can make this count as, or we can reset this count as 0. And yes, so it should be enough. Now, as we need to return the number, so let's return the max, which will be the maximum number of consecutive ones. So let's try to run this and see. So both the cases have been accepted. Now let me submit this solution. Okay, we have got one error. Okay, yes. Now this error has occurred because we have initialized this max as wrong. As we can see, if array doesn't contain any 0, then the max should always also be 0, right? So instead of returning a negative max, we need to return a positive max, right? Now let's try to submit it again. Yes, now it is submitted and successfully completed. So I hope you have understood the approach and why this max we need to take care, do not declare it as negative, because in an edge case it can cause an issue, because if there is no one available in your array, then the max should default be 0. So we can't initialize it through -1. So hopefully you have understood the solution, and if you people have any doubts, then you can write down your doubts in the comment section and I will be ready to help you out.